Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Still here in early April, so a lot of rain. Weather can be good on some days and bad on the others. So, yeah, that's definitely April for us. So, hope everyone's doing well. For today, I wanted to kind of continue our discussion that we started last week about April being Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And again, I think from last week's discussion, this is something that not only is a nationwide thing, but it's something that we should really focus on year wide because again, there are so many reasons, too many to list about why it's important for us to learn about sexual assault and the harmful effects that it has on really everyone. So to start off, there was kind of four main statistics that I wanted to share with you that I think really show the impact about we are a college campus, and why do we spend so much time focusing on sexual assault and Title IX, and we all know why they're important, but I think these four statistics, to me really show why this is such important, especially on our campus. Did you know that nearly 1 in 5 women, so almost 20% in the United States, have been raped at some point in their lives? 1 in 5 women. So, that's really a scary statistic that 20% of women in America at some point in their lives will have experienced sexual assault. It's a very scary statistic. Now, it's a very different number for men. It's actually 1 in 71, so about 1.4%. And even, yeah, that might be a very, very small number, but still, there are a lot, and this number is actually going up. About more and more men are being, sexually assaulted or raped at some point in their lives. So again, 20% of women at some point will experience, this awful situation. So it's really important to understand that. Did you know that more than half, so about 52% of female victims of rape reported being raped by an intimate partner? So somebody that they knew and they trusted, they felt very secure with. And about 40% of those, described that person as an acquaintance. Somebody who may not have been a close, intimate friend, but somebody that they were aware of, somebody that they knew pretty well, or at least, were familiar with that person. So contrary to popular belief, the majority of rapes don't happen, with somebody walking by themselves in a dark alleyway at 3 a.m. Even though those do happen, but most cases, rape occurs with an intimate partner or with somebody who's an acquaintance of that person. For male victims, almost 55% reported being raped by an acquaintance or somebody they know, and less than 10% was by a stranger. So again, that's something that you hear a lot of things called rape myths. That if you hadn't been walking in a dark alley, we've all heard those kind of flawed arguments before. But vast majority of cases don't fall under that category. So I think it's important for us to really understand that. So. And these last two statistics, I think, are really critical on why we make such a big deal and focus on this in high schools and in college itself. Did you know that about 80% of female victims of sexual assault experience this sexual assault before the age of 25? So 4 in 5 women who've been assaulted or raped happened before they were 25 years old. And then of that, 40% experienced it before the age of 18, so while they were still in high school. So 4 out of 10 female victims of sexual assault experienced it while they were in high school. Again, very, very scary statistics. And finally, more than a quarter of male victims experience, which is, I think it's about 28%, a little over 28% of male victims experienced it when they were 10 years or younger. Again, very, very scary statistics. So of the men who've been sexually assaulted or raped, a quarter happened when they were 10 years or younger. Again, just very, very awful, scary statistics. And again, I know this might not be the most comfortable thing to talk about, but I think it's important for us to realize, and these are all 2020 statistics, so they're very, very relevant and very fresh. So even though, with COVID, playing a major part, and on a number basis, these numbers were down from previous years because so few people were on campus or in school during COVID, it's still scary that these numbers are still very prevalent. So I think it's important for us to be able to realize that these exist and that we need not only just recognize them, but what can we do about it? So that's the other thing that I wanted to mention is what can we do about it? And if you Google what can I do about sexual assault or how can I help, there's a billion different resources, different websites you can go to. Personally, I like Know Your Nine. It's a Title IX website. Then if you just Google Sexual Assault Awareness Month, there's a great website on that. Those are ones that I personally like. But I'm going to give you 3 very simple things that you can do to help victims of sexual assault. And they're very, very simple. The first one is when someone discloses trauma to you, your reaction matters so much. and can often be in factor of whether or not they seek further help. A large number of, especially women, have reported that when they were victim blamed, or somebody said, well, you shouldn't have drunk so much that night, or you shouldn't put yourself in that situation, almost 90% who've experienced that then choose not to file anything. So the best thing that you can do if somebody discloses this to you is use very simple phrases. I believe you. I support you. You're not alone. What happened was not your fault. And then something as simple as, thank you for sharing with me. To appreciate this is often very hard for survivors to do. And then if you're willing to do that, if they're telling you in the first place, they show a certain amount of trust in you. But this will give you if you just use these very simple phrases, I believe you, I support you, let me get you some assistance. If you can do that, if we as a nation did that, sexual assault would plummet, because again, so many victims of sexual assault don't report. And so so law enforcement has nothing to go off of. And it causes such long-term trauma with victims that, it affects everything from their mental health to their physical health. That's why it's so important for us to show victims support. Sexual Assault Awareness Month may only last the month of April, but obviously the conversation shouldn't end come May. It's no different than Black History Month or Women's History Month. Just because the month ends, we shouldn't just stop talking about it and wait till this time rolls around again next year. We all have a role to play in this, and there are things we can do in our everyday lives to make these changes. And you can start with how we talk about it. If you hear someone make a joke about rape, or has a misconception, so-called rape myth, call it out and explain why it's harmful. And most people who say these types of jokes, and I truly believe that most people say it, if you call it out, they would never do it again. They are just trying to get a quick laugh. Most of them are not bad people. They just thought a joke was funny, and it wasn't. It's no different than if you hear a joke, that's racist or sexist. If you call it out and explain why the harm, I truly believe most people will understand and back down. We all know there's people who are going to say these jokes no matter what, and who are going to always think it's funny, and and there are just people that are like that. But let's focus on who we can help, essentially. If you see one of your friends or family members in a potentially dangerous situation, like in a party or anything like that, help them out by being an active bystander. Be somebody who's willing to watch out for them. If you see that they are getting into a compromising situation, you're a hero if you step in and take care of that. You truly are a hero. So always think about that. And finally, I think one of the simple things that we can do is later this month, on April 28th, it is National Denim Day. And National Denim Day is an annual national day of awareness that encourages participants to wear denim as a symbol of believing survivors and asserting that consent has nothing to do with your clothing, essentially. So there's a lot of views out there that, well, because you wore a low top, or you wore certain shoes, or you wore a skirt, or whatever it is, that you were inviting the sexual assault to happen. And that's a complete and utter myth. So wearing denim on Denim Day shows that we support individuals, that your clothing has nothing to do with whether or not you put yourself in that situation. So it is a complete falsehood. So if you do happen to remember on April 28th, wear jeans that day, or wear a denim shirt, wear something, and show your solidarity. It's a simple thing, but the more we spread the word about Denim Day, when we see people on April 28th wearing denim, we know that they are there to support victims of sexual assault. So just some simple things that you can do. So again, hope everybody's doing well. We'll have some more information about Sexual Assault Awareness Month next week. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.